God, the Bible, health, spirituality, life, death, and so much more here on Reconsidered. So, we're going to talk about generational trauma. This is something that people have, a term that has been used in the recent, probably the last decade or so, maybe 2 decades. And we talk about scripture here. We talk about the Bible, we talk about God, we talk about spirituality, we talk about health, we talk about life and death. Right? So Exodus chapter 34 of the New Living Translation is what I'm looking at. And we're going to look at verse 5 through 7. Then the Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him, and he called out his name, Yahweh. The Lord passed on in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. I forgive iniquity, rebellion, and sin, but I do not excuse the guilty. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children and grandchildren. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations. Is that why we talk about generational trauma? Are we saying that God is saying that people have trauma that is passed down I think it's like they use the term of like epigenetically, and it's passed down from generation to generation, and we have this trauma that's just inherent. Yes, we all have inherent trauma that we do not have reconciliation with God. That's our trauma, and that's for every human being, and it's even affected non-humans. That's our trauma, is that we need to reconcile before the God, Yahweh, which he said his own name, Yahweh. He said Yahweh, the Lord. That's his name, and he said it. So he said that he's the God of compassion and mercy. He's slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness to 1,000 generations, forgiving iniquity, rebellion, and sin. That's what's most important for all of us. So, other scriptures like Luke 1:50 said mercy for generation to generation. So generation after generation, he extends mercy. Judges 2:10 says a contrast between one generation that was gathered, but then another generation later did not even know the Lord at all. So they did not even know the Lord. So how come that wasn't passed down from generation to generation? Only trauma is? The reason people are traumatized is because maybe your grandmother sat down and told you what her experience was. And people say, I can't believe my grandmother went through that. Maybe someone sat down and showed you some literature or a letter that was written from a great, great ancestor. And you read it and you find out and you say, I can't believe my family was in this or they experienced that. And yes, we can get word of something. We can have a telegram sent. We can get bad news. Bad news can traumatize us. But it's simply that. Bad news. People have been told stories and given depictions in movies, books, literature, and videos that have traumatized them. And it's told them, your ancestors, I don't know their names, but you know who you are. They did not have anything good for themselves. And at one time, they did not have even the clothes on their back. They didn't have anything. And it's not good that people have traumatized people to the point where people feel like they cannot function day to day. And the reason why people do this is because it's controlling and it empowers them. And you're telling someone, you are not good enough. Your mother wasn't good enough. Your father wasn't good enough. Your great-great-grandfather wasn't good enough. And that's why you will not have anything. That's not true. That is not from Yahweh. That is satanic, demonic, and it's very diabolical. It's not good. And so people are walking around feeling like, I have things in my life that are difficult. And I don't understand why I can't pull myself out of this situation. And I guess it's generational. It's generational trauma and stress. And I can't do it. It's a story. It's a fabrication, an exaggeration that has been put and given and fed to you so that you cannot move forward. And we're not talking about just one group of people. Because other people carry around so much guilt. And this is what happens. And I know every single one of you here in the Western world has experienced this. Have you ever looked at one person and I want you to understand how our bodies work. So on our right side, and remember, this is what we learned from the Eastern medicine religions of the world. We learned that our right side is our masculine side and it's our past. Our left side is our feminine side and it's our present. Okay? What do you do when you meet the person that is guilty? They're guilty. They're guilty of giving my family so much trauma and tribulation for generations. You look up to your right and you say, I don't want you to tell me that I don't have anything good for myself. I don't want you to tell me. You look to that right up. Your eyeballs go to your right and they look up and they say, I don't want you to tell me that I'm not worth it. I don't want you to tell me. As you look up to that right side, I don't want you to tell me that I'm not beautiful, that I'm not smart, that I'm not successful. Right? So what is that group who is guilty and they feel like, oh, I feel like it's not good that we did that? They look down to their right and they say, I don't want you to tell me that I'm not a good person because I didn't do that. I know my family did that. As they look to their right and down, they say, I know my family did that, but I don't want you to tell me that I did that because I didn't. I know we have a lot of good things. We have a lot of money and wealth and property and stuff like that, but I didn't do that to you. And I don't want you to tell me that I don't like you because it's not true, because I have friends I grew up with just like you. Right? We're walking around with trauma that has been fed to us over and over and over and over again. And this is why we have these symptoms. It's not passed down genetically when we are born. It's taught to us. And we have to start reconsidering what we are taught and resisting the urge to feel as if we are unable to be different, to change, to reconcile with God first and with ourselves and one another.